Durga Puja is right around the corner. Viewers and devotees are now gearing up to, of course, celebrate the annual 10-day festival with great fervour and enthusiasm. However, for Bangladesh's Hindu minority, this time celebrations might take a backseat as radical Islamist groups have issued a warning to Hindus in our neighbouring nation. Durga Puja celebration committees have received anonymous letters demanding $4,200 to celebrate Durga Puja. The letters warn that failure to comply would result in being chopped up into pieces. Radical groups have also threatened to harm the families of Hindu committee members. They stood on the roads in the Uttara suburb of Dhaka, forming human chains in a bid to stop the festivities this year. Additionally, the radical group Insaf Keemkari Chhatra Janta warned against open celebrations of the festival and idol worship or immersion. The group staged a protest in Dhaka Sector 13 against the use of a playground by the Hindu community. The playground in question has been used by the Hindu community for Durga Puja celebrations for many years now. But that's not all. Radical groups have also demanded the removal of Durga Puja from the list of national holidays, as well as the removal of several temples built in the country. All of this has forced the Hindu community in Bangladesh to change the venues of their Durga Puja celebrations. Ever since the ouster of the Sheikh Hasina led government, attacks against Hindus in Bangladesh have been occurring unabated. Hindu houses have been torched, businesses have been targeted, and temples have been desecrated. Yet, despite public assurances to protect minorities in Bangladesh, the Muhammad Yunus led government is yet to really walk the talk. Is it time for the world to finally wake up to the plight of Hindus in Bangladesh, who are now being threatened against the very essence of their religion? I take this conversation forward. I have with me Ambassador Baswati Mukherjee. We also have with us Sumit Peer, political commentator. I have with me Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, and Mr. Radharam Das, Vice President spokesperson of ISKCON Kolkata, with us on the broadcast. Let me begin this conversation with Mr. Radharam Das, if I may. Mr. Das, these latest threats that now emerge once again against the Hindu community of Bangladesh, firstly, what are your thoughts on who could possibly be behind this and why exactly is this happening? And what is your message then to the Hindus of Bangladesh?
Situation is very, very terrible there. Today morning I was speaking with one of our brahmachari. He called me and actually he was crying on the phone. He was asking, can you request our Pradhan Mantri, Prime Minister, that he should think about taking these Hindus from rescuing Hindus from Bangladesh, because what we are seeing, like they want to ban Durga Puja. That is a very little thing. Now what they are doing on ground in different villages, they are taking Hindu women in the night, and next day they are kidnapping Hindu women and they are raping them, and then the next morning they are leaving them. Okay, you go. Situation is like that. And this devotee was crying that it looks like there is no hope for Bangladesh, and Indian government should start thinking about all possibilities. He was also referring to one monk, one brahmachari. In March, he tried to cross into India, because for last 2 years he was trying to apply for visa, but the Indian embassy in Dhaka, they were not giving him a visa. And he thought that Bangladeshi Muslims, they go like that. So he tried that way, and he was shot dead by BSF. His name is Mukund Mrityunjay Das. He was killed in March by BSF. So he was asking that we are again applying in Indian embassy there, and they are not issuing visa. So Prabhuji, what should we do? He is asking me to appeal to Prime Minister that at least they should allow whoever wants to come to visit India, they should allow him visa. So actually they also don't know, we also don't know. Situation is very bad. It is going to be worse than Afghanistan. So now they were also telling that we should see Israel, what Israel is doing, how they are fighting this terrorism. And actually, I also feel that India should look towards Israel, how they are dealing with Islamic terrorism.
Okay, good point raised there. Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee, I'm bringing you into the conversation here, ma'am. A 16-point list of demands raised by some of these radical Islamist groups, which includes no worship anywhere by closing roads, no pollution to the water by idol immersion, no worship to idols. And the issues that they're raising is that Durga Puja has been made a national holiday, only even though Hindus only make up 2% of the population, and that the festival is a nuisance for the Muslim majority. How does India now deal with this situation in Bangladesh? Because clearly it seems that Mohammad Yunus has decided to give a free hand to radicals.
Devika, first of all, let us approach this question in a calm manner, pragmatic manner, and in accordance with India's core national interests. There are 1.5 crore Hindus in Bangladesh. There is no way in which 1.5 crore Hindus can be permitted to cross the border and come into West Bengal. Then it will destabilize the frontier state of West Bengal, the whole of the Northeast, etc. There are huge stakes here. Along with the 1.5 crore Hindus, you will also have plenty of Muslim jihadis, Rohingyas, etc. coming. So there is no way in which we can allow unimpeded entry of 1.5 crore Hindus across the border. That is why the border is guarded by the BSF and by the Indian Army. In the month of March, if such a person was shot dead, the situation was not under Mohammad Yunus. Last year we had a program on your television where we were told that Ma Durga has been desecrated. During Sheikh Hasina's time, her head was chopped off. So this is not a problem which has arisen today. Secondly, Mohammad Yunus, it is now becoming very clear from his visit to United States, where he met President Clinton, he met Kamala Harris, he met the US President. It's very clear that he has come in as a kind of regime change engineered from outside. But Mohammad Yunus is not going to fight the election, nor will he survive for long in Bangladesh if he denies elections fast. There should be elections. It doesn't matter which political party wins, the Awami League still has substantial presence on the ground. There should be free and fair elections, which we should insist upon. And even if the BNP wins, the situation will be less chaotic than it is now, because Mohammad Yunus neither has a political party, nor does he have control, and he is trying to put student advisors who are interfering actively. Some of them are not anti-Hindu, some of them are very anti-Hindu. Now let me come to Durga Puja. As far as Durga Puja is concerned, it is very clear that the situation on the ground is extremely dangerous right now to have full-fledged Durga Puja activities. It is for the Hindu community in Bangladesh to take a decision on what kind of festivities in this kind of situation is safe, given the fact, Devika, let me tell you, because my parents come from Dhaka, Bikrampur, and I have written a book on Bengal's partition, and I get videos every single day, disturbing videos every single day from my friends in Bangladesh. Let me tell you that this situation has been developing for the last 5 years. Under Sheikh Hasina, fewer and fewer Durga Pujas, more and more focus on so-called idol worship, completely turning a blind eye on the first song of Mahalaya, which says Jago Ma, which means the Ma is awoken and then the Ma goes back through the Visarjan. It's a complete process, and since it was a syncretic culture in Bengal not very long ago, this procedure of Durga Puja is known to everybody in East Bengal, now Bangladesh, whether Hindus or Muslims. Under those circumstances, I would advise pragmatic approach to this position. Human lives come first. If it is to be subdued this year, let it be subdued. Let us not invite India to behave like Israel, which has broken international law and is bombing South Beirut, killing thousands of civilians. We are not Israel. We are not an international pariah. We are regarded as a merged power, which will soon be the third largest economy, which will take its rightful place in the Security Council one day, sooner or later. We do not break international law and go in and start bombing indiscriminately. Not at all. Moreover, we have a neighborhood which is very dangerous and very difficult. We have a nuclear armed China. We have to look at our core national interests. We have to look at our northeast. We have to look at the chicken's neck. We have to look at Bengal, West Bengal, whatever is remains of Bengal, which was given to us after partition.
Okay.
So I would say, let's avoid emotion. Let's avoid thinking that we can accommodate 1.5 crore Hindus with perhaps another 1 crore Muslims and jihadis and Rohingyas. We cannot do it. We have to first think about India. If
Okay.
other countries say their country comes first, for me too, my country, India, comes first. There
Okay, I want to bring Sumit Peer into the conversation. Sumit Peer, your thoughts on what's really happening in Bangladesh, and also from the perspective that if a Muhammad Yunus is an agent of the United States of America, what is in it for the USA as far as the long-term implications of this free hand to radicals is concerned? Are they only concerned with creating trouble within Bangladesh, and ultimately what really becomes the fate of the nation doesn't really bother the United States of America as long as the chaos continues? Given the fact that there are now rumors that it was the US that in fact wanted this regime change. So on the one hand you want the regime to change, but when the new regime comes in, you're presenting to them a country that is boiling. How does that work?
Devaji, thank you very much for having me on your show. I think it was your shows a couple of days back and the shows in NewsX. I have been predicting that they will not allow Durga Puja to happen this year because that is what the trend was. If you look at the things, you see, first of all, you said you cannot have Durga Puja during the Azan. Stop 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after. There will be no music on the pandals. And the madrasa students will be guarding the Durga Puja. What does that tell you? It is like you're putting petrol and a matchbox together and waiting for the dhamaka to happen. That is what was the grand plan of Muhammad Yunus. Now, what we are seeing now is a very logical sequence. He's the same man we are discussing, I think 2 days back on your show. He presented these students, said these are the masterminds. If these students could orchestrate a coup, could not be seen, could not be detected by the intelligence agencies, would have the capability of overthrowing the government. Now, whatever they are telling us right now has to be taken seriously, because now, you know what I'm seeing the return of the Aurangzeb era, wherein Hindus had to pay jizya. Now, unfortunately, the Hindus of Bangladesh are again supposed to pay jizya, because if you want to do this Durga Puja, which is very close to our hearts, you have to pay 5 lakh rupiah, or how many $1,000, whatever you said, the number. 5 lakh rupiah you have to pay. That is like calling for jizya. So today it is jizya for puja, tomorrow it will be jizya for survival. Trust me, swear to God, we'll be debating on NewsX. It will come a day, there will be jizya for survival. I hope and pray my words are not heard by the Almighty. They go into some void, but it's going to happen that day. Now the challenge is very simple. Islamists are running it, Jamaatis are running it, Muhammad Yunus has no control. Americans tried the coup, they failed, Chinese did it, but ultimately what he was meeting Clinton, he was meeting Joe Biden, he's meeting Kamala Harris, and he's meeting Anthony Blinken. What does that tell you? Americans have won. It was a boxing between America and China, and finally, the referee comes and picks ek bande ka haath upar karta. He's the winner. So the winners are Americans. They have managed to take over the control. Americans want a base. Americans want Sun Mountain Islands. Americans want Bangladesh to be driven by radicals and jihadis, because radicals and jihadis is the best ground to have those puppet regimes wherein mullahs and maulanas along with
But
politicians
that's
can
what,
control people.
Sumit, doesn't that show that America has not learned from its own past? When you say that America wants a certain type of regime in place, they've done it in so many other countries and they've miserably failed. They had to run away from certain countries in the past few years.
You see, Devika ji, that's absolutely right. You hit it the nail on the head. You know, when you have bombed around 33 countries 73 times and you have killed millions of people in the name of human rights, democracy and restoration of some law and order. So, ek aur number add kar dete. How does it matter to them? Look, there is their model of working. They will siphon out whatever is from Bangladesh. They want to have trouble around Indian borders. We have vulnerability in Northeast, we have vulnerability around the whole area. They want to build that vulnerability around here. So it's that liver diplomacy. Wherever you deal business with Americans, there'll be a carrot and there'll be a stick. So they will have a lever which they can pull in. This lever was pulled. Ultimately, it brings a lot of trouble for India. Let it be Hindus, let it be jihadis, let it be Islamists who are come over. If you let Hindus come in, they are only the road clearing party. After unke piche, there'll be thousands and a million of jihadis who will enter here. So what is the way out? The way out for Bharat is what I've been always advocating, and India has to do it. Take my word. It's a matter of time. You have to liberate a part of Bangladesh and make it as a Hindu country and possibly as a Christian country, because Hindu of Bangladesh cannot be thrown out of Bangladesh khali haath. This cannot be the practice. This happened in Kashmir, this happened in Kerala, this happened in a lot of places. We cannot accept that bhai wo khali haath gaya hai. Why? We will take a piece of land. Let us make another Bhutan in Bangladesh. Let's make another possibly Nepal and Bangladesh, which will be under protection. Will integrate with our economy. Let it be Hindus, let it be Christians, will integrate. There will be a separate country or a state. But we don't want to, extend Bharat there. But let's liberate them. Let's save them. We have to save them because jihadis will swallow all the Hindus there. And once they are done with the Hindus of there, then they have a plan of greater Bangladesh. Then look at Murshida Malda. It will not stop. They will come to Murshidabad. They will come to Malda. That is the next plan. Greater Bangladesh is a plan and project already in place. So if we have to liberate them, I'm not in favor of getting Hindus. You give them the land. Because you see, the Bengal belongs to Hindus also. Bangladesh Hindu ka bhi hai, ma'am. It's not that you're a Muslim Bangladeshi, the Bangladesh belongs to you. Why a Hindu Bangladeshi is not a Bengali? Why a Bengali Bangladeshi is not a Bengali? Is there written somewhere that you have to be only a Muslim, then only Bangladesh belongs to you? No. So Hindus must get their right. We have to liberate them, give them a piece of their land. Their livelihood has to be protected. We'll integrate them into our economy, and that is how we'll protect dharma, we'll protect culture, and we'll protect the Hindu lives. A Christian country has to be cut because the kind of people who are running Bangladesh right now, they will not let Hindus or Christians or any ethnic minority live there. Let it be Sikhs, let it be Parsi Jews, anybody cannot live there. Look at one point, immersion of Ma Durga Puja, Pandal, Ma Durga Murtis in rivers is causing pollution. For the sake of God, do you believe these jihadis? I know only one person who can remember who talked similar lines in India or politics was Umar Abdullah. When he was told we want to have a hutment outside Amarnath cave, tento ka sheher, a tent hutment made of tents. He said it will pollute the waters and it will disturb the ecology. Now that kind of sentiment we have seen with these jihadis. I mean, that is the sentiment. And this Islamic invasion never stops. This Islamic jihad never stops. They will never settle with anything unless and until you cut a pie out of them and have minimum deterrence to do with them, because it will not stop. No agreement works with them, no truce works with them. And when I used to always say on TV, on YouTube channels and all, we say we always have a cordial relation with Bangladesh. I used to argue we have a cordial relation with Sheikh Hasina, not Bangladesh. Now where are those relations? What about the billions of dollars were put in Bangladesh? Where have these all things gone? Mohammed Yunus is saying that I want to revisit all the projects. Mohammed Yunus was saying let us settle the unsettled agenda with Pakistan. वो कल वो क्या शहबाज शरीफ से गले मिल रहा था. That bare hugs with Shahbaz Sharif. And Shahbaz Sharif has invited him to Pakistan for the first state visit. And they are already going, let's do whatever was left in the Pakistan. Fact remains, Devgaji, one last point. Pakistanis raped their million of women. 3, 4, 5 million women were raped. Still, they are the best of buddies today. And if you look into the history and if you look at the bond, वो कहते हैं ना तेरा मेरा क्या रिश्ता ला इला इला. That is the reality. But if you go by logic, there is no logic. There is this Muslim relationship. Well, what is the reason of tango between Shahbaz Sharif and Yunus? Kya rishta inka? They should have a relation of hate. You come and rape 5 million women of my country and I am my brother. I am coming to state visit to your country. We are finishing the agendas. We are doing a student exchange program.
I need to clarify this, Devika. I need to clarify this.
Okay, yes, Ambassador Mukherjee, go ahead. Then I want to bring in Gautam Mukherjee into the conversation as well.
Bengali, I need to clarify. The first and most important thing is that when the language movement started after the creation of East Pakistan, it was because the Muslims of East Pakistan said that what is more important to them is the Bengali culture, heritage and civilization and not religion. And that is how the constitution of Bangladesh till today is secular. Secondly, it is not so simple even if they are doing bear hugs for it, because the Ashrafs, the Muslims of West Pakistan, fair-skinned, handsome, tall, descended either from the Central Asians or from converted Rajputs and Brahmins of North India, look very different from the dark-skinned, meat-eating, converted, lower caste Hindus who became Muslims in Bengal. These are facts which led to the massacre in the genocide in 71, the killing of the professors, the rape of the women and the children who were never accepted and were killed at birth by the Bengali Muslim women. They were not Hindus, they were Muslims who were raped. Therefore, that history is too recent to be wiped out by anyone, including somebody like Yunus, who has got no political backing at all. That is why I am saying, please, many of you are not Bengalis. Please understand that it's very complex history. They may do as many bear hugs as they want to do, but the point is that Mujib was made to dig his own grave every single day until India liberated East Pakistan and he was allowed to come back. So, we should look at this issue now from a very cool and calm perspective. My advice would be cool, be calm. Don't allow them to cross. Make it clear to Mujib, make it clear to Yunus's bosses in Washington that they are endangering India's national security. And I agree with Sumit that at some point, if it becomes like Afghanistan, carve out some territory to secure our chicken's neck, carve out some territory and secure our own territory.
I'm running out of time, unfortunately. I need to give Gautam Mukherjee a chance as well. Gautam Mukherjee, your thoughts on what's happening?
My apologies.
I certainly think that Bangladesh is being very provocative, and it is only partially directed at their own Hindus, and it is also directed at provoking India. India has done a wonderful job of staying away from this provocation. This is not the only one. We have a multitude of provocations going on in Myanmar, in Bangladesh. We are fencing a massive border with Myanmar. We are policing and fencing and guarding a massive border with Bangladesh. This is the way to proceed because we cannot afford to be derailed by a rump of a country like Bangladesh. It can be as jihadi as it likes. We are used to it. We've got plenty of them at home and we've got plenty of them on every border. In addition, we've got the Chinese breathing down our necks. So we have to be very careful how we marshal our resources and do not allow any harm to come to our interests and any harm to come to our pace of progress. As far as the Americans go, they've done it again and again and again. No, they don't want to because it is a highly funded kind of thing. On the one hand, they make a plan where they iron out the contradictions lest the plan not be accepted. They go ahead, they talk of Martin's Island, they can't set up over there with the jihadis and the Maulanas and the factions. Awami League didn't want it in the first place. BNP will not want it. The jihadis by themselves cannot organize it. So, and then you've got the Chinese who don't want it. And then you've got the Myanmaris who don't want it. So, have they thought ahead on how they're going to implement any of this takeover business? It's one thing to use a puppet like Muhammad Yunus, who's 83, 84, and quite another when they deal with the very students that Muhammad Yunus is pointing to. They're not going to listen. They're not going to listen, and America can't make them. The jihadis are not going to listen either, and again, America can't make them. Their follow-through has been dismal over the centuries. Here you have to give points to the British. They not only conquer, they know how to retain, they know how to administer. The Americans don't. They made a mess of every single invasion, every single attempted invasion. Their theories just do not work. Even in countries where they have stood there in occupation, like Afghanistan, where again they affected regime change. $85 billion later, they left. I mean, 20 years, many deaths, and they just walked out because they couldn't handle it. Iraq, Syria, the list is long. Where have the Americans managed to make their diabolical schemes of regime change and getting their own way? Iran is a classic example. It went so bad that after all these years, with the mullahs and the Khomeinis on top, they have not been able to do very much about it. So I think India is sitting pretty after all is said and done. Looks contradictory. But if we just keep our powder dry and our eyes peeled and keep improving our surveillance, our defensive posture, our military posture, I think we're going to just steam ahead, even though almost every country in our neighborhood is in turmoil.
Yes.
Well, sometimes that can be very bad for you. In this case, at the present juncture, it is actually good for us.
Okay.
You know, it's a strange thing to say, but that's the fact. We're the only functioning country, let alone democracy, in the entire South Asian area.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.